The Carolina Panthers have officially entered tankathon mode. Some fans are probably excited about that. That would be some Panthers fans who want to see the Panthers land a top 5 pick. You may be a Falcons fan or a Tampa Bay fan and excited that, hey, we get a chance for an easy win as we close out the season. And sure enough, I don't know how many people tuned into the episode yesterday where we gave an update on some of the statuses of key players. One of those being J.C. Horn. We talk about Josie Jewell. Some notable names that are out in this week's matchup. Well, the news keeps coming in. Chuba Hubbard has been placed on IR. His season is done. I mean, any player that gets placed on IR at this point in time is going to be done. It's only 2 games left, and the Panthers are not in the playoffs. But Chuba Hubbard, who had a fantastic season, is now out for the year. It sounds like it's a knee and calf. Likely something he's battled throughout the season, but as you get into the end here, and I kind of talked to people about this is a meaningless game. Sure, the players are going to go all out, play for each other as we've talked about, but when it comes to hanging the banners, you're not going to hang any banners for knocking teams out of the playoffs. It's important for these guys to stay healthy and to continue to build on the momentum that we have here in Carolina. That was your notable move. Now, the Panthers linebacking core, we've already talked about that as well. I mean, you're going to be rolling with a bunch of backups. I mean, guys that are probably 5th or 6th string, and most depth charts do not go back that far. Well, I should say your 5th and 6th option at the linebacker position, so like 3rd and 4th string. Now, some other notable news, so now you're like, who's going to run the ball for the Carolina Panthers? Well, it's probably going to be a mix of Raheem Blackshear, who's already on the active roster, and Mike Boone. So Mike Boone was officially signed to the active 53-man roster, and someone else, Jack Plummer. That's right, quarterback Jack Plummer. This one has a lot of folks scratching their heads, wondering, are they truly all in on the tank? And you may think so. You probably play Bryce Young this week and then go into next week and have him sit. Does this mean we're going to see a little bit of Andy Dalton? I don't know. But odds are, like with Jack Plummer getting added to the active roster, I bet we're going to see him at some point this year. My guess would be the final week of the season. They also placed cornerback Shaw Smith-Wade on IR and then activated defensive end Deshaun Williams as a standard elevation. So we have a hodgepodge of moves that have been made. And yeah, the Panthers are slowly just trying to get to the finish line to close this season out. Now, one of the things that I talked about yesterday, I was just curious how first-year head coaches for the Carolina Panthers have done. So I put together a graphic. If you follow me on X, actually I posted it here on YouTube as well and Instagram, but I look back at the records for first-year head coaches, or not first time, but records for head coaches in their first season with the Carolina Panthers. So running down the list, you have Dom Capers, who went 7-9 in the first inaugural season. George Seifert, 8-8. John Fox, 7-9. Ron Rivera, 6-10. Matt Rule, 5-11. Frank Wright, 1-10. And then Dave Canales at 4-11. Now, some folks brought up some really good points that typically, if there is a coaching change, the coach that's coming in is likely taking over a bad team in a bad situation. But we have seen across the league coaches that have been able to turn teams around in one season. I mean, you look across at the Chargers, you look at the Commanders. Now, I think those are a little bit different because they have a few more meat on the bones when it comes to the roster and what was intact. But that's the bar. So for Dave Canales, if you talk about like what is he playing for, he does have a chance to either tie Matt Rule with 5 wins or get up a notch and have 6 wins in his tally. Of course, Ron Rivera did it in 16 games. Either way, the building blocks there for the foundation. You double your win total from this previous year. You'd like to see them double it again next year. Although, this is my way too early prediction that we're probably looking at like 6.5 to 7 win total projections that are going to come out of Vegas. And for folks that bet on the over-under for the Carolina Panthers to open the season, remember it was 5.5. You got to be sweating your pants either way. Because with 2 games to go, the Panthers win this week, you're right at 5. And so that final week will determine payouts. And again, I don't do sports betting, but I do like to call out some of the things that I noticed. So anyways, that is going to do it for today's episode. The Tankathon will continue for the Panthers, and we will close out this season and move on to the draft. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.